Well, no candidate won the endorsement. Still, this is a national story. Demos saying no dice to Dianne Feinstein. So, Melissa and I asked former San Francisco Mayor Willie Brown, who is heavily involved in Democratic politics, to tell us a little bit about the relationship between Dianne Feinstein and the Democratic Party that could have led to this.
It's up and down, in and out. Dianne, for a long time, has been booed by members of the Democratic Party at the State Central Committee meeting. She was always considered too conservative, and sometimes that served her purpose.
She made a commercial at one point showing herself being booed by Democrats.
That's when she gave a speech in support of the death penalty, and it was filmed. Everybody thought that was the end of her. She turned around, made it into a commercial, and won.
Well,
or didn't win, but
she
really
reads the voters of California much better, obviously, than members of the Democratic Party, that wing of the Democratic Party. After all, it's always been dominated by the more activist types, and Dianne was never, ever an activist.
So it's not surprising that those activists are the same people who made a rule change earlier last year, well, sort of late last year, that would make it more difficult for incumbents to get the Democratic Party nominee.
You go to a lot of these conventions and these meetings, Melissa. God bless you for it. When Mayor Bill, when you guys talk about activists, what are we really talking about? Who makes up this party when they go into the convention?
Well, remember, this takes a lot of time. So a lot of these are consultants. A lot of these are retirees. A lot of these are people with time on their hands and energy to devote to this. And so they tend to be a little bit removed, some of them, from what mainstream voters believe.
And many times they are really beholden to other organizations.
Like unions?
For an example, unions, the environmental movement, sometimes the ethnic movement. There are people there with agendas, whether it's Black Lives Matter or Wall Street Project. They come there. They're not coming just as Democrats. They're coming to carry the water of their real organization.
So now, in California's open primary, where it's the two top vote getters that move from the primary to the general, and chances are in California, many times as not, it's going to be two Democrats. What value is a party endorsement? I'm
not sure there really is much of one. I mean, there's money that can come with that, but in terms of just being able to say I'm the Democratic Party, endorsed candidate, I'm not sure that really helps anyone.
If you want to have the most not attackable, it is within the framework of the party.
Oh, so the party can be a huge money operation.
An unbelievable
So in other words,
laundry.
all the special interests can give it to the Democratic Party, and once it goes into that little pool, it's all of a sudden clean, right?
No, it's acceptable. It's never clean.
That's always Willie Brown having an interesting spin. You took a look at the votes here. Aside from Dianne Feinstein, or addition to Dianne Feinstein, what other surprises did you see?
Yeah, we got the vote tally right here. Came out about 2 a.m. The issue with the governor's race is an interesting one. Gavin Newsom, despite having the support of some huge unions.
California Nurses Association, California teachers, I think, are there, yeah?
That's right. He still only got 39%. Didn't even come within striking distance of that 60% needed for an actual endorsement. And John Chung, who has not been able to really get above the low teens or mid-teens in the polls, got 30% of the vote. So there's definitely some skewing here.
Former Los Angeles Mayor Antonio Villagrosa do? He's perceived in the polls as running closest to Gavin.
He got 9%. So it looks like our Democratic Party insiders are moving a little to the left, it seems, but not so far as to endorse Lieutenant Governor Gavin Newsom.
And Melissa and I asked former San Francisco Mayor Willie Brown, okay, the president's threat to pull out ICE, his calls about whether or not California is cooperating on taxes and other issues. What is the Democratic response?
He clearly is never, ever coming to California. He really, literally, every time he gets a chance, he takes a shot. We're a sanctuary state as far as he's concerned. We have too many dreamers here as far as he's concerned. We are anti-wall as far as he's concerned. Now he says we got to have our own border guards. This guy is wild.
Well, not to, get too founding father on all of this, but look, the president is supposed to carry out congressional mandates. It's not clear to me that the president has the power to withdraw ICE agents from California. He is obligated to.
I think, Melissa, you are falling into the Trump trap. You're actually rational thought and taking him seriously. Once again, there you go. It's the reporter in you and the lawyer in you. You've got to stop. You've got to go into the public relations. How much of this is just him trumping?
It's Trump being Trump. Not only that, You guys are ignoring the fact that Trump has no acquaintanceship with the Constitution. That's not part of what he uses as a guidepost, as a guideline. And as a result of that, as far as he's concerned, he is the king.
Is he calling out California officials? Because this is the same state that has sanctuary laws that says do not cooperate with ICE. Even Oakland won't even let them set up perimeters around operations to make sure they're safe. Is he calling them out? And what do California's officials say privately?
Well, so yeah, he is, of course, calling out California, but California officials call out Trump, you know, at every moment they can. But privately, they will tell you, even at the highest levels, that they need ICE agents to help with drug trafficking issues, with human trafficking issues, with weapons trafficking issues. They're an integral part of the team that breaks these things up. And so I think that there are people who are very privately going, that would be a really terrible thing to do.
Just maybe California really is capable of being an independent nation. The resources that are here, we can begin to withhold from the feds. And believe me, the confrontation over that issue under the state guide would be a good one.
That would be an interesting confrontation.
No, that's not a thing. California can't leave the union. Stop even thinking about it. That's not a thing.
What if it joined with Oregon and Washington?
No, you can't leave. The Constitution is an in. There's no out. That's it. We're in. And Lord knows we don't want to be paying our share of the national debt to even get out, even if that were a possibility. So,
well, so much for Willie Brown's bid to be president of California.